Layla Brooks was just looking for a simple blind date, but when she mistakenly sits at the wrong table, she finds herself in deep conversation with a charming stranger. Little does she know, Noah Sinclair isn't just any man. He's one of the city's most eligible millionaires. Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today. Layla Brooks stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror of Chez Michel, one of the fanciest restaurants in the city. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple but elegant ponytail, and the blue dress she'd splurged on hugged her curves in all the right places. Not that she could afford such luxuries often, not when rent was due and her car needed repairs again. "You can do this," she whispered to herself, applying another coat of the drugstore lipstick her best friend Jenny had insisted matched her skin tone perfectly. "It's just dinner, with a complete stranger, who Jenny swears is perfect for you." She checked her watch and gasped. She was already 15 minutes late. Between the extra shift at the diner and the bus running behind schedule, she'd barely made it here at all. Layla rushed out of the bathroom, clutching her worn purse tightly. The maitre d' raised an eyebrow at her flustered appearance. "Table 14, please," she said, remembering Jenny's instructions. "I'm meeting someone there." The maitre d' nodded and gestured toward the back of the restaurant. "That way, miss." Layla's heels clicked against the polished floor as she wove between tables of well-dressed couples sipping expensive wine. Her heart raced. What kind of man had Jenny set her up with? Someone who could afford this place must be successful, maybe too successful for a woman who worked as a waitress by day and bookstore clerk by night. She spotted table 14 and took a deep breath. A man sat with his back to her, his broad shoulders filling out an expensive-looking suit. At least he had waited. "I'm so sorry I'm late," Layla said, sliding into the seat across from him. "The bus was—" The words died in her throat as she looked at the man's face. He was gorgeous. That was her first thought. Strong jawline, warm, brown eyes and a smile that made her heart skip. Not at all the balding accountant type Jenny had described. "No problem at all," he said, his voice deep and pleasant. "I just got here myself." Layla blinked in confusion. This wasn't who she was supposed to meet. But before she could say anything, the waiter appeared with a bottle of wine. "The Chateau Margaux you ordered, sir," the waiter said, showing the label to the man. "Perfect, thank you," he replied, then looked at Layla. "I hope you like red?" Layla nodded, still trying to process what was happening. This man clearly thought she was someone else, his blind date presumably. She should speak up, explain the mistake. But then he smiled again, and all rational thought fled her mind. "I'm Noah," he said, extending his hand across the table. "Layla," she replied, shaking his hand. His grip was firm but gentle. "So, Layla," Noah said as the waiter poured their wine, "tell me about yourself." This was her chance to explain. To say this was a mix-up, that she was supposed to be meeting someone named Mark at this table, not him. But as she opened her mouth, a strange impulse took over. "I work 2 jobs, she blurted out. "I'm a waitress at Sally's Diner during the day and I work at Cornerstone Books in the evenings." Noah looked surprised but interested, not put off as most men would be. "That sounds exhausting," he said with genuine concern in his voice. Layla shrugged. "Hey, it pays the bills, mostly." She took a sip of the wine and nearly gasped. It was the most delicious thing she'd ever tasted. "And I love being around books, so that part doesn't feel like work." "What kind of books do you enjoy?" Noah asked, leaning forward slightly. And just like that, they were talking. Really talking. Not the awkward small talk of a blind date, but a flowing conversation that felt natural and easy. Noah asked questions and actually listened to her answers. He laughed at her jokes about difficult customers and nodded sympathetically when she mentioned her struggle to finish college while working full-time. "I had to drop out after my mum got sick," she explained, surprised at how comfortable she felt sharing this with him. "Medical bills piled up, and someone had to work. That couldn't have been easy," Noah said, his eyes soft with understanding. "Your mum, is she—" "She's better now," Layla said quickly. "Living in Florida with my aunt. The warm weather helps her arthritis." Noah nodded, then shared a bit about his own family. Parents, who had pushed him hard, a sister he adored. He talked about growing up with expectations, about finding his own path. "Enough about me," he said after a while. "What would you be doing if money wasn't an issue?" Layla laughed. "Is this a trick question?" "Not at all," Noah said, smiling. "I'm genuinely curious." Layla took another sip of wine, considering. "I'd finish my degree in education, become a teacher." She hesitated, then added, "And I'd open a little bookstore cafe, a place where kids could come after school to read and get help with homework." Noah's eyes lit up. "That sounds amazing." "Yeah, well," Layla said, suddenly embarrassed by her dream, "it's just a fantasy." "The best businesses start as fantasies," Noah replied. "Trust me on that." Before Layla could ask what he meant, her phone buzzed. She pulled it out and saw a text from Jenny. "Mark said you never showed up. Are you okay?" Layla's stomach dropped. She'd been so caught up in her conversation with Noah that she'd completely forgotten she was at the wrong table. "Everything all right?" Noah asked, noticing her expression. Layla felt heat rising to her cheeks. "I think there's been a mix-up." Noah raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "I was supposed to meet someone named Mark for a blind date at table 14. She looked around and suddenly noticed that they were at table 15, not 14. "Oh my God, I sat at the wrong table." Noah's eyes widened. Then he burst out laughing, not mocking, but genuinely amused. "So you're not Jessica, the investment banker my cousin set me up with?" Layla covered her face with her hands. "No, I'm just Layla, the waitress who can't read table numbers correctly." When she peeked through her fingers, Noah was still smiling. "Well, just Layla," he said, raising his wine glass. "I think this might be the best mix-up I've ever experienced." Their glasses clinked and Layla felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the wine. "What about your date?" she asked. "And mine? We should probably—" "Jessica is 20 minutes late, which means she's probably not coming," Noah said with a shrug. "And as for your Mark," he glanced over Layla's shoulder and his expression changed slightly. "Is that your friend Jenny, the one who set you up?" Layla turned to see Jenny approaching their table, her face a mix of confusion and curiosity. "Layla, what are you doing? Mark's been waiting at table 14 for almost an hour." Layla winced. "I'm so sorry. I got confused about the table numbers." Jenny looked from Layla to Noah, her eyes widening as she took in his expensive suit and the bottle of wine on the table. "And you are?" Jenny asked Noah. "Noah Sinclair," he said, extending his hand. "I was stood up, and Layla here was kind enough to join me instead." Jenny's mouth fell open. "Noah Sinclair, as in Sinclair Enterprises, as in the Noah Sinclair?" Layla frowned. What was Jenny talking about? "The one and only," Noah replied with a smile that seemed slightly forced now. Jenny grabbed Layla's arm. "Can I talk to you for a second? Privately?" Before Layla could protest, Jenny was dragging her toward the ladies' room. "Do you have any idea who that is?" Jenny hissed as soon as the door closed behind them. "Noah? The guy I accidentally sat with, instead of Mark." "That's Noah Sinclair," Jenny said, as if the name should mean something. "He's only one of the richest men in the city. His tech company went public last year. He's worth millions, maybe billions." Layla felt like the floor was tilting beneath her. "What? No, he can't be. He's so normal." "Normal?" Jenny laughed. "Layla, that man was just on the cover of Business Weekly, and you've been sitting there telling him about your jobs at the diner and the bookstore?" he asked. Layla protested weakly. Jenny shook her head in disbelief. "This is unreal. Mark is out there wondering where his date is, and you're having wine with a millionaire." "I should go apologize to Mark," Layla said, feeling guilty. "Don't worry about it. I texted him that you had an emergency," Jenny said, waving a hand dismissively. "This is much more important. You need to get back out." "There? And do what?" "Now that I know who he is, I'll just be awkward and weird. So don't be, just be yourself. It was working for you so far, right?" Layla bit her lip. "I guess—" "Go," Jenny urged, practically shoving her toward the door. "And text me everything later." Layla walked back to the table, her legs feeling wobbly. Noah stood as she approached, ever the gentleman. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Yes," Layla said, trying to sound normal. Jenny just wanted to check on something. As she sat down, she couldn't help seeing Noah differently now. The watch on. His wrist probably cost more than her yearly rent. The casual way he'd ordered that wine, which she now realized must be incredibly expensive. How had she not noticed? "So," Noah said, reclaiming his seat, "where were we?" "You're Noah Sinclair," Layla blurted out. Noah's smile faltered. "Yes, of Sinclair Enterprises." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Jenny told you, I'm guessing?" Layla nodded, not trusting herself to speak. "And now things are weird," Noah said, more a statement than a question. "A little," Layla admitted. "I mean, I've been sitting here talking about my minimum wage jobs and my student loans to someone who probably makes more money in a day than I do in a year." Noah leaned forward, his eyes intense. "Layla, do you know why I enjoyed our conversation so much? Because you had no idea who I was. You weren't trying to impress me or get something from me. You were just you." Layla swallowed hard. "And now that I know?" "Now I'm hoping you can still be just you," Noah said softly, "because that's who I want to keep talking to." The waiter approached with menus, breaking the moment. "Shall I give you a few minutes to decide?" he asked. Noah looked at Layla questioningly. This was her chance to leave, to end this surreal evening and go back to her normal life. "Yes, please," she said to the waiter. "We need a few minutes." As the waiter walked away, Noah smiled, a relieved smile that made his eyes crinkle at the corners. "So," he said, opening his menu, "how do you feel about the lobster ravioli?" Layla laughed, some of the tension leaving her body. "I've never had lobster ravioli." "Then tonight's your lucky night," Noah said, his eyes twinkling, "just like it's mine." Across the restaurant, a woman in a sleek black dress entered, looking around impatiently. She approached the maitre d', exchanged a few words, then spotted Noah. Her red lips curved into a predatory smile. "There's my date," she said, sauntering toward table 15. But Noah only had eyes for Layla, who was laughing at something he'd said, her earlier nervousness forgotten. Jessica Reynolds, investment. Banker and socialite was not used to being ignored, especially not for a woman in an off-the-rack dress and drugstore makeup. Noah Sinclair," she said, stopping at their table. Noah looked up, momentarily confused. "Jessica, you're 7 o'clock, she said coolly. "Sorry I'm late. Traffic was a nightmare." Layla's smile faded as she looked between Noah and the stunning woman beside their table. Of course this was his type, polished, sophisticated, successful. "Actually," Noah said, clearing his throat, "I'm in the middle of dinner with Layla." Jessica's perfectly shaped eyebrows rose. "I see. And who is Layla?" Before Noah could answer, Layla stood up. "I'm nobody," she said quickly. "Just someone who sat at the wrong table. I should go." "Layla, wait," Noah said, standing too. "You don't have to leave." But Layla was already gathering her purse. "It's fine, really. You should have dinner with your actual date," she forced a smile. "Thanks for the wine, it was delicious." And with that she hurried toward the exit, ignoring Noah calling her name. Outside, the cool night air hit her face, bringing her back to reality. What had she been thinking? That a millionaire CEO would actually be interested in someone like her? She was halfway down the block when she heard footsteps behind her. "Layla! Wait, please!" She turned to see Noah jogging toward her, tie loosened and hair slightly mussed. "What about Jessica?" Layla asked when he reached her. "I told her something important came up," Noah said, slightly out of breath. "I couldn't let you leave like that. Why not? She's clearly more your type." "No, she's not," Noah said firmly. "Look, I know this is crazy. We just met. And yes, there's a lot about my life I haven't told you, but I haven't felt this connection with someone in years, maybe ever." Layla stared at him, wanting to believe him but afraid to. "I'm not asking for anything," Noah continued. "Just a chance to finish our dinner. To see where this goes." A taxi drove by, its headlights illuminating Noah's face. He looked sincere and hopeful. "What would someone like you want with someone like me?" Layla asked softly. "The chance to be with someone real," Noah replied. "Someone who sees me, not my bank account." He held out his hand. "Will you come back inside, please?" Layla hesitated, then placed her hand in his. "Okay, but I'm ordering the cheapest thing on the menu." Noah laughed and the sound warmed her from the inside out. Deal. As they walked back toward the restaurant, Layla knew she was taking a risk. That this night might lead nowhere. That tomorrow Noah might regret choosing the waitress over the investment banker. But for tonight, in this moment, she decided to believe in the possibility of something wonderful. What she didn't see was Jessica. Reynolds watching them from the restaurant entrance, her eyes cold with calculation. "Noah Sinclair," she murmured, taking out her phone. "You just made a very big mistake." She dialed a number. "Charles, it's Jessica. You know that business opportunity we discussed? I think I found your way in." Inside, oblivious to the brewing, Storm, Noah and Layla returned to their table, their evening and their story just beginning. 2 weeks had passed since that fateful night at Chez Michel, and Layla still couldn't believe how her life had changed. She hummed to herself as she wiped down tables at Sally's diner, her mind replaying memories of her dates with Noah. After that first dinner, Noah had asked for her number. Layla had been sure he wouldn't call, that once he returned to his world of board meetings and business deals, he'd forget all about the waitress he'd met by accident. But the very next day he'd texted her, asking if she was free for lunch. Earth to Layla. Doris, the 60-year-old head waitress, waved a hand in front of Layla's face. "Table 6 needs their check, honey, and you've been wiping that same spot." "For 5 minutes," Layla blushed. "Sorry, Doris, I was just daydreaming about that handsome man of yours," Doris finished with a knowing smile. "The one who keeps sending flowers to the diner." As if on cue, the bell above the door jingled, and a delivery man entered carrying a bouquet of sunflowers. Layla's favorite. The other waitresses giggled as the man approached Layla. "Delivery for Layla Brooks," he announced. Layla accepted. The flowers, her cheeks burning as her co-workers teased her. She quickly read the card attached, counting the hours until tonight. Noah tonight, their 5th date. Noah was taking her to a charity gala, the first time they would be appearing in public at a high-profile event. Layla's stomach knotted, with nerves at the thought. "Must be nice," said Vicky, the newest waitress, as she passed by with a tray of orders. "Dating a millionaire. He's not just—" Layla started to protest, then stopped. What was the point? No one seemed to understand that she was falling for Noah the person, not Noah the millionaire. The rest of her shift passed in a blur of coffee refills and burger orders. When she finally clocked out, Jenny was waiting outside in her beat-up Honda. "Carriage awaits, Cinderella," Jenny called through the open window. "We've got exactly 3 hours to transform you into a princess." Layla climbed into the passenger seat. "I'm starting to regret asking for your help." "Please," Jenny scoffed, pulling into traffic. "Without me, you wouldn't have even met Prince Charming." "I met him because I sat at the wrong table," Layla reminded her. "Details, details," Jenny waved dismissively. "The point is, I'm your fairy godmother and tonight is your ball." At Jenny's apartment, a dress was already laid out on the bed, a stunning emerald green gown that shimmered under the light. "Jenny," Layla gasped, "it's beautiful, but I can't afford—" "Relax," Jenny said. "It's a loaner from my cousin who works at Nordstrom. We just have to return it without stains or tears." As Jenny helped her with her hair and makeup, Layla confessed her fears. "What if I embarrass him? What if everyone wonders what he's doing? With someone like me?" Jenny paused with the mascara wand in mid-air. "Someone like you? You mean someone kind, genuine, and beautiful? Yeah, what a mystery." "You know what I mean," Layla sighed. "I don't belong in his world." "Maybe his world needs more people like you," Jenny replied, returning to her makeup work. "Now close your eyes and stop doubting yourself." Across town in his penthouse apartment, Noah was adjusting his bow tie when his phone rang. The screen displayed "Mother." He sighed before answering. "Hello, Mother." "Noah, darling," came Vivian Sinclair's crisp voice. "I just received the guest list for tonight's gala. You've requested a +1. Is it that lovely Jessica Reynolds? Her father mentioned you two had dinner." Noah pinched the bridge of his nose. "No, Mother. I'm bringing someone else. Her name is Layla Brooks." A pause. "Brooks? I don't believe I know the family." "You wouldn't," Noah said simply. "She's not from your social circle." "I see." Vivian's tone cooled noticeably. And what does Miss Brooks do? Noah hesitated, knowing how his mother would react. She's a waitress and a bookstore clerk. The silence on the other end was deafening. Mother? Noah, Vivian finally said, her voice tight with disapproval. I understand you're going through some sort of rebellion phase. But a waitress? At the children's hospital. Gala? The board members will be there, potential investors. I'm bringing Layla, Noah said firmly. She's important to me. This isn't like you, Vivian pressed. You've always been so sensible about your public image. Maybe I'm tired of my public image, Noah shot back. Maybe I want something real. For a change. Real. Vivian let out a brittle laugh. Noah, be practical. What could you possibly have in common with this girl? More than I ever had with any of the socialites you pushed my way, Noah thought. Aloud, he said, I have to go, Mother. Layla will be here soon. Just think about what you're doing, Vivian said before hanging up. For the sake of the company, if nothing else. Noah tossed his phone onto the bed, his good mood dampened. He knew bringing Layla tonight would cause a stir, but he didn't care. The past 2 weeks with her had been the happiest he could remember. With Layla, he could just be Noah. Not the CEO, not the millionaire, just a man enjoying the company of a woman who made him laugh, who challenged him, who saw the person behind, the wealth. A text notification broke his thoughts. It was from Charles Reynolds, Jessica's father, and a potential business partner. Looking forward to seeing you tonight. We have much to discuss. Noah frowned. He'd made it clear to Jessica that he wasn't interested, but it seemed the Reynolds family wasn't giving up easily. Pushing these concerns aside, he grabbed his keys and headed downstairs to wait for Layla. The taxi dropped Layla off in front of Noah's building, a gleaming high-rise in the most expensive part of the city. She stepped out, clutching her small purse, feeling like an imposter in the borrowed dress and the cheap shoes she'd painted with gold nail polish to make them look more expensive. The doorman gave her a once-over before asking, May I help you, miss? I'm here to see Noah Sinclair, she said, trying to sound confident. Your name? Layla Brooks. The doorman checked his tablet. Ah, yes. Mr. Sinclair is waiting for you in the lobby. As Layla entered, her breath caught. The lobby was more luxurious than any hotel she'd ever seen, with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. And there, standing by a fountain, was Noah. The sight of him in his tuxedo made her heart skip a beat. When Noah turned and saw her, his face lit up with a smile that melted away her insecurities. Layla, he breathed, taking her in. You look incredible. It's borrowed, she blurted out, then winced at her honesty. But Noah just laughed, closing the distance between them. You could wear a paper bag and still be the most beautiful woman in the room. He leaned down and kissed her softly, a kiss that promised more. Ready for this? He asked when they parted. No, Layla admitted, but I'm trying to be brave. Noah took her hand and squeezed it. Just be yourself, that's all I want. The ride to the gala in Noah's chauffeur-driven car was surreal. Layla tried not to gawk at the leather interior or the built-in bar. This was Noah's normal, she reminded herself. Her life as far from hers as the moon from the earth. As they pulled up to the red carpet outside the Grand Plaza Hotel, Layla's nerves returned full force. There are photographers, she whispered, peering out the window. Just smile and keep walking, Noah advised. They're mostly interested in getting shots of donors for the society pages. But when they stepped out of the car, flashes exploded around them. Noah was clearly more recognizable than he'd let on. Mr. Sinclair, this way. Noah, who's your date? Are you two an item? Noah placed a protective hand on Layla's lower back, guiding her through the gauntlet of photographers. She tried to smile naturally, praying she wouldn't trip in her borrowed heels. Inside, the ballroom took Layla's breath away. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting a warm glow over tables draped in white linen. A string quartet played softly in one corner, while waiters in black ties circulated with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. Noah Sinclair, as I live and breathe, called a voice to their right. A distinguished older man approached, accompanied by a younger man who looked remarkably like Noah. Uncle Robert, Noah greeted him with a handshake. Adam, good to see you both. And who is this lovely young lady? Robert asked, turning to Layla. This is Layla Brooks, Noah said, a hint of pride in his voice. Layla, this is my uncle Robert Sinclair and my cousin Adam. A pleasure, Layla said, extending her hand. Robert shook it warmly, but Adam merely gave her a tight-lipped smile. Brooks, Adam mused. Not familiar with the name. What business is your family in, Layla? Layla swallowed. No business. My dad was a mechanic before he passed. My mom's a home health aide. An awkward silence followed, broken by Robert clearing his throat. Well, he said kindly, any friend of Noah's is welcome here. I hope you enjoy the evening, my dear. As Robert led Adam away, Layla heard Adam mutter, A commoner. Seriously? Noah's jaw tightened. I'm sorry about that. It's fine, Layla said, though it wasn't. I knew this would happen. Before Noah could respond, a woman's voice called his name. Noah, darling. Layla turned to see an elegant older woman, approaching, her silver hair perfectly coiffed, diamonds glittering at her throat and ears. Mother, Noah said, kissing her cheek. I didn't realize you'd be here. I wouldn't miss it, Vivian Sinclair replied, her eyes sliding to Layla. And this must be Miss Brooks. It's nice to meet you, Mrs. Sinclair, Layla said, extending her hand. Vivian took it briefly, her smile not reaching her eyes. Indeed, Noah has told me very little about you. Noah stepped closer to Layla, placing his arm around her waist. Layla works at Sally's Diner and Cornerstone Books. She's also studying to become a teacher. How diverse, Vivian commented. And your family, dear. It's just my mom now, Layla replied. She lives in Florida. I see, Vivian said, in a tone that suggested she saw all too clearly. Noah, Charles Reynolds is eager to speak with you. He's by the bar with Jessica. Noah's arm tightened around Layla. We'll catch up with them later. Right now I'd like to introduce Layla to some of the hospital board members. Vivian's smile thinned further. Of course. Don't let me keep you. As they moved away, Layla whispered, Your mother hates me. She doesn't know you, Noah replied. Give her time. Noah, be realistic. I'm a waitress from a nobody family. I'll never fit into this world. Noah stopped walking and turned to face her. Layla, look at me. I don't care about any of that. I care about you. The woman who got so excited about finding a first edition Hemingway that she nearly knocked over a display. The woman who saves half her lunch every day for the homeless man on the corner. The woman who makes me laugh like no one else can. Layla's eyes welled with tears. I'm trying to believe that's enough. Noah leaned down to kiss her forehead. It's more than enough. Now come on, let's get you a drink. As they approached the bar, Layla saw a stunning woman in a red dress watching them. Her perfectly styled blonde hair and flawless makeup screamed money and privilege. This had to be Jessica. Noah, Jessica purred, air-kissing his cheek. You've been hiding from me. Jessica, Noah nodded coolly. This is Layla Brooks. Layla. Jessica Reynolds. Jessica gave Layla a dismissive once-over. Charmed, I'm sure. She turned back to Noah. Daddy's been looking everywhere for you. He's ready to discuss the merger details. I told your father I'm not interested in a merger right now, Noah said firmly. Oh, but you haven't heard our latest proposal, Jessica insisted, placing a manicured hand on his arm. Daddy's increased the offer by 20%. The answer is still no, Noah said, removing her hand. If you'll excuse us. He led Layla to the dance floor, leaving Jessica fuming behind them. I take it you have history with her? Layla asked as Noah took her in his arms. Jessica's father wants to merge his company with mine, Noah explained, guiding her in a slow dance. And he seems to think marrying his daughter off to me would seal the deal. And you're not interested? Noah looked down at her, his eyes intense. The only merger I'm interested in right now is bringing your world and mine together. Layla felt herself melting into his gaze. How was this happening to her? How had she, ordinary Layla Brooks, captured the attention of someone like Noah Sinclair as they swayed to the music? Noah bent down to whisper in her ear. What are you thinking right now? That I'm terrified, Layla admitted softly. Of what? Of falling for you, of getting hurt when this ends. Noah pulled back slightly to look at her. Who said anything about this ending? Before Layla could respond, A commotion near the entrance drew everyone's attention. A man in a rumpled suit was arguing with security. "Sir, you don't have an invitation," the guard was saying. "I don't need one," the man shouted. "I just need to speak to Layla Brooks." Layla froze, recognizing the voice. "Oh no, what is it?" Noah asked, concerned. "It's Mark," Layla whispered. "My blind date from that night, the one I stood up." Mark spotted her on the dance floor and pushed past the guard. "Layla, I need to talk to you." Heads turned as he stumbled toward them, clearly drunk. "Mark, what are you doing here?" Layla hissed when he reached them. "Is this him?" Mark demanded, gesturing wildly at Noah. "The rich guy you ditched me for?" Noah stepped forward. "Sir, I think you should leave." "Stay out of this, moneybags," Mark slurred. "Layla was supposed to be my date that night. Mine. Then she saw dollar signs and suddenly I wasn't good enough." Security was approaching fast, but the damage was done. Everyone was staring, whispering. "That's not what happened," Layla protested, mortified. "It was a mistake. I sat at the wrong table." "A convenient mistake," came a cold voice from behind them. Jessica Reynolds had materialized, a smirk on her face. "Some might even call it calculated." Layla turned to her in shock. "What?" Jessica raised a perfectly shaped eyebrow. "Come now, Layla. You expect us to believe it was pure coincidence that you sat down with one of the wealthiest bachelors in the city?" "That's exactly what happened," Noah said firmly. "And it's none of your business, Jessica." "But it is my business when someone is clearly taking advantage of my friend," Jessica replied smoothly. To the gathering crowd, she added, "Noah's too much of a gentleman to see it, but this woman planned the whole thing. She researched him, found out where he'd be, and engineered their chance meeting." Gasps and murmurs spread through the onlookers. Layla felt the room spinning around her. "That's not true," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Isn't it?" Jessica pressed. "A waitress just happens to sit at the wrong table with a millionaire. Please." "That's enough," Noah said, his voice deadly quiet. "Security, please escort Miss Reynolds and this gentleman out." As the guards moved to comply, Jessica leaned in close to Layla. "You don't belong here, sweetie. Go back to your little diner before you get hurt." Security led Jessica and Mark away, but the damage was done. Vivian Sinclair stood nearby, her expression a mix of concern and vindication. "Noah," she said quietly, "perhaps it would be best if you took Miss Brooks home. We can discuss the scene she's caused tomorrow." "Mother," Noah warned, "don't." Layla felt tears threatening to spill. All her fears were coming true in the worst possible way. "I should go," she said, pulling away from Noah. "This was a mistake." "Layla, wait." But Layla was already moving toward the exit, desperate to escape the stares and whispers. She heard Noah calling after her, but she couldn't face him right now, not when Jessica's words were ringing in her ears, feeding every insecurity she'd had about their relationship. Outside, the cool night air hit her tear-streaked face. She kicked off her borrowed heels and ran down the street, not caring who saw. All she wanted was to get away from the glittering ballroom that had made it so painfully clear she didn't belong in Noah's world. A taxi pulled up beside her, and she climbed in gratefully, giving the driver her address. Back at the gala, Noah searched frantically for Layla, only to be stopped by Charles Reynolds. "Not now, Charles," Noah said, trying to push past him. "Just a moment of your time," Charles insisted. "I think you'll find our new proposal quite interesting, especially after tonight's embarrassment." Noah glared at him. "Did you put your daughter up to that little scene?" Charles looked affronted. "I don't know what you mean." "I think you do," Noah replied coldly. "And if I find out you or Jessica had anything to do with what happened tonight, you can forget about ever doing business with Sinclair Enterprises." With that, he strode away, pulling out his phone to call Layla. It went straight to voicemail. "Layla, it's me. Please call me back. What happened tonight? None of it is true. I know you didn't plan anything, I know you." He paused, then added softly, "I'm falling in love with you, Layla Brooks. Please don't let them drive you away." As Noah ended the call, he didn't notice Jessica watching from across the room, her face tight with anger. She pulled out her own phone and dialed a number. "We need a new plan," she said when the call connected. "Noah's more attached to this waitress than we thought. It's time to dig deeper into Layla Brooks's past. Everyone has secrets. Find hers. Across town, in her tiny apartment, Layla sat on her bed, still wearing the emerald dress, tears streaming down her face. Her phone buzzed with Noah's voicemail, but she couldn't bring herself to listen to it. How could she have been so foolish? To think someone like Noah could really care for someone like her. Their worlds were too different. The gala had proved that. A knock on her door startled her. For a wild moment, she thought it might be Noah. But when she opened it, Jenny stood there, holding a pint of ice cream. "I figured you might need this," Jenny said, taking in Layla's tear-stained face. "What happened?" As Layla poured out the story, Jenny's expression grew increasingly outraged. "That Jessica bitch," she spat when Layla finished. "She's obviously jealous." "Maybe," Layla sniffed, "but she wasn't wrong. I don't belong in Noah's world." "So what?" Jenny demanded. "Maybe he's tired of his world. Maybe he needs someone real, someone like you." "You didn't see how everyone looked at me," Layla said miserably. "Like I was a gold digger, a fraud. Who cares what they think? What matters is what Noah thinks." Layla shook her head. "It would never work. Better to end it now before I get in any deeper." As if on cue, her phone buzzed with a text from Noah. "I'm outside your building. Please let me see you." Layla stared at the message, her heart pounding. "He's here," she whispered. Jenny peeked out the window. "Yep, that's his fancy car, all right." She turned to Layla. "So what are you going to do?" Layla took a deep breath, wiping away her tears. "I'm going to end it before I get hurt even more." "Are you sure?" Jenny asked gently. "Because that man doesn't look like someone who's using you or ashamed of you. He looks like someone who's falling in love." Layla glanced out the window. Noah stood by his car, looking up at her building with such hope and longing that it made her heart ache. "I don't know if I'm brave enough for this," she whispered. "Love always requires bravery," Jenny replied. "The question is he worth the risk?" As Layla looked down at Noah, their eyes met across the distance, and in that moment she knew she had a decision to make, one that would change both their lives forever. Layla stood in front of her apartment building, arms wrapped around herself against the night chill. She'd changed out of the emerald dress into jeans and a sweater, her face freshly washed of makeup and tears. Noah waited a few feet away, his tuxedo jacket slung over one arm, bow tie undone. "Thank you for coming down," he said softly. "I almost didn't," Layla admitted. Noah took a step closer. "Layla, about what happened at the gala—" "It's okay," she interrupted. "You don't owe me an explanation. In fact, I think I owe you an apology. I embarrassed you in front of all those important people." "You didn't embarrass me," Noah said firmly. "Jessica and Mark did that. And frankly, I don't care what those important people think." Layla sighed, leaning against the brick wall of her building. "Noah, let's be honest with ourselves. I don't fit into your world. Tonight proved that." "Tonight proved that some people are small-minded snobs," Noah countered, moving closer. "It has nothing to do with us." "But it does," Layla insisted. "Your mother looked at me like I was something she found on the bottom of her shoe. Your cousin called me a commoner. And Jessica is jealous," Noah cut in. "She always has been of anyone who has my attention. She's also gorgeous, sophisticated, and perfect for someone in your position," Layla said quietly. Noah ran a hand through his hair in frustration. "If I wanted Jessica, I would be with Jessica. I want you, Layla. Only you." His words made her heart leap, but Layla forced herself to stay grounded. "For how long? Until the novelty wears off? Until the pressure from your family and your business becomes too much?" "Is that what you think this is?" Noah asked, hurt evident in his voice. "A novelty?" Layla looked down at her worn sneakers, so different from the Italian leather shoes Noah wore. "I think we come from different worlds, and I think eventually that matters." Noah took her hands in his. "Look at me, Layla." When she raised her eyes to his, he continued, "I've spent my entire life surrounded by people like Jessica, people who want something from me. My money, my connections, my status. Do you know how rare it is to meet someone who just wants me?" "But that's the thing," Layla replied. "I don't just get you, I get all of it. The wealth, the status, the family disapproval, the cameras and the gossip. "And I get your world too," Noah said. "The early shifts at the diner, the student loans, the tiny apartment. That's how relationships work. We share our lives, all of them." Layla bit her lip, wanting so badly to believe him. "I'm scared, Noah. What if I let myself fall for you, and then you realize I'm not enough?" Noah's gaze softened. "That's not possible. If anything, I'm the one who should be worried that I'm not enough for you." Layla let out a laugh that was half sob. "That's ridiculous. You're Noah Sinclair. And you're Layla Brooks," he replied. "The woman I can't stop thinking about. The woman who sees me, not my bank account or my company." He cupped her face gently. "Please don't let Jessica or my mother or anyone else ruin what we have." Layla looked into his eyes, searching for any sign of hesitation or doubt. She found none. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay," Noah repeated, a smile starting to form. "I want to keep seeing you," Layla clarified. "But we need to be realistic. Your world isn't going to suddenly embrace me. And I have my own life, my jobs, my studies." "I know," Noah said. "We'll figure it out step by step. Together." He leaned down and kissed her, a kiss that melted away her doubts, at least for now. When they parted, Layla felt lighter, hopeful again. "Would you like to come up?" she asked, then quickly added, "Just for coffee or something. Jenny's still up there anyway." Noah smiled. "I'd like that." As they turned toward the entrance, neither noticed the black sedan parked across the street, nor the camera lens aimed their way from its tinted window. 3 days later, Layla was arranging a new display at Cornerstone Books when her phone buzzed, with a text from Jenny. "Call me now!" Concerned, Layla stepped into the back room and dialed Jenny's number. "Have you seen it?" Jenny demanded, without preamble. "Seen what?" "Oh God, you haven't." "Layla, you need to check Social Sweep right now." Social Sweep was a popular gossip site that covered celebrity and high society news. Layla's stomach dropped. "Jenny, what's going on? Just look it up. Call me back." With trembling fingers, Layla opened the site on her phone. Her breath caught when she saw the headline, "Sinclair's Gold-Digging Waitress. The Truth About Noah's New Girlfriend." Below it was a photo of her and Noah outside her apartment building, followed by several other photos. Layla at work at the diner, Layla leaving Noah's building early in the morning, and even an old photo of her with Mark from months ago. The article was worse than the pictures. Sources close to Layla Brooks revealed the accidental meeting with billionaire Noah Sinclair was anything but chance. The struggling waitress reportedly researched Sinclair for weeks, learning his habits and favorite restaurants before engineering their coincidental encounter. Even more shocking, Brooks was already dating another man when she set her sights on Sinclair's fortune. "She completely used Mark," says a close friend of Brooks. "She was dating him while planning how to trap Noah." The Sinclair family is reportedly concerned about the relationship. "Noah has always been generous to a fault," says one family insider. They're worried he's being taken advantage of by someone who sees him as a meal ticket. Meanwhile, family friend Jessica Reynolds expresses concern. "Noah is such a kind person. He doesn't always see when people have ulterior motives." Layla felt sick. The article was filled with lies and twisted half-truths. Who would do this? The answer was obvious. Jessica. The bell over the shop door jingled, and Layla looked up to see her manager, Mr. Henderson, beckoning her with a stern expression. "Layla, a word, please." In his small office, Mr. Henderson slid a printout of the article across his desk. "Would you care to explain this?" "It's not true," Layla said, her voice shaking. "None of it is true. True or not, Cornerstone Books cannot be associated with this kind of publicity." He sighed, looking genuinely regretful. "I'm sorry, Layla, but I'm going to have to let you go." "What? But I've worked here for 3 years." "And you've been excellent," Mr. Henderson acknowledged. "I can write you a glowing reference. But our customers, many of them come from the same social circles as the Sinclairs. This puts us in an awkward position." Layla left the bookstore in a daze, clutching her few belongings in a paper bag. She'd lost one of her jobs because of a relationship that was barely a month old. And if Mr. Henderson had seen the article, so had everyone. At Sally's diner, Sure enough, when she arrived for her shift the next morning, Doris pulled her aside. "Honey, have you seen the papers?" Layla nodded miserably. "It's all lies, Doris." "I believe you," Doris said, patting her arm. "But the owner doesn't want any trouble. We've had reporters calling all morning." "Am I fired here too?" Layla asked, already knowing the answer. Doris's eyes were sympathetic. "They're cutting your shifts for now until things blow over, whatever that means." Cutting her shifts meant effectively firing her without saying so. Layla bit back tears. In the span of 24 hours, she'd lost both her jobs. Outside the diner, she checked her phone. Several missed calls and texts from Noah, but nothing since early morning. Was he having second thoughts now that the scandal had broken? Forcing down her anxiety, Layla dialed his number. It went straight to voicemail. "Noah, it's me. I don't know if you've seen the article, but none of it is true. I never planned to meet you. I never used Mark. Please call me back when you can." Layla spent the rest of the day holed up in her apartment, ignoring calls from numbers she didn't recognize. Probably reporters. By evening, she was a bundle of nerves. Why hadn't Noah called back? Just as she was considering the worst, her buzzer rang. She approached the intercom cautiously. "Who is it?" "It's me," came Noah's voice, sounding tired. Relief flooded her as she buzzed him in. When she opened her door, he stood there looking as exhausted as he sounded, his normally perfect appearance rumpled. "I've been trying to reach you all day," Layla said. "I know, I'm sorry." Noah entered, loosening his tie. "It's been chaos. My phone died, and I didn't have my charger." "You've seen the article." Noah's expression darkened. "Yes, it's garbage, Layla. Complete trash." "I lost both my jobs because of it," she said quietly. Noah's head snapped up. "What? They fired you?" "The bookstore outright fired me. The diner cut my shifts." "Same difference." Noah ran a hand over his face. "I'm so sorry. This is all because of me." "No," Layla corrected. "It's because of Jessica. She's the family friend quoted in the article. I'm sure of it." "I confronted her," Noah confirmed. "She denied being the source, but she didn't seem particularly upset about the article either." He sighed. "My mother called an emergency board meeting today. Some of the more conservative board members are concerned about the company's image." Layla felt a chill. "What does that mean for you?" "It means they want me to issue a statement denying our relationship." Noah's voice was bitter. "For the good of the company, of course." "And what did you say?" Noah moved to sit beside her on the couch. "I told them to go to hell." Despite everything, Layla laughed. "You didn't." "Not in those exact words," Noah admitted with a small smile. "But I made it clear that my personal life is not up for discussion or committee approval." His expression turned serious. "Layla, I'm so sorry you're caught in the middle of this." "It's not your fault," Layla said softly. "But it is," Noah insisted. "This is my world. The politics, the gossip, the power plays. I should have been more careful, more protective of you." Layla placed her hand over his. "We both knew there would be challenges. This is just a bigger one than we expected." Noah's eyes searched hers. "You're handling this better than I am." "Well, I don't have a billion-dollar company to worry about," Layla said with a wry smile. "Just rent and bills and no job." "About that," Noah began, then hesitated. "Layla, I want to help you. Financially, I mean." Layla stiffened. "No, please, just listen. This situation is my fault. At least let me cover your expenses until you find new jobs." "That would just confirm what everyone is saying about me," Layla said, standing up and pacing the small living room. "That I'm with you for your money." "Who cares what they say?" Noah argued. "We know the truth." "I care," Layla said firmly. "My dignity is all I have left right now." Noah stood too, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "Then let me help you find a new job. I know people. I could make some calls. And then I'd be the girl who got hired because she's sleeping with Noah Sinclair," Layla pointed out. "That's not any better." "So what then?" Noah asked, exasperated. "I'm just supposed to watch you struggle when I have the means to help?" "Yes," Layla said simply, "because that's respecting my choice, my independence." Noah looked at her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Okay, I don't like it, but I understand. Layla felt a weight lift from her chest. This was why she was falling for him. Because underneath the trappings of wealth and power, Noah respected her. Thank you. She said softly. Noah pulled her into his arms. We'll get through this. The scandal will blow over, you'll find new jobs, and I'll be here every step of the way. Layla rested her head against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Promise. Promise, Noah whispered, kissing the top of her head. They spent the evening together, ordering takeout and watching old movies, trying to forget the world outside. It was nearly midnight when Noah reluctantly said he had to leave for an early meeting. At the door, he kissed her deeply. I love you, Layla Brooks. Scandal and all. It was the first time he'd said those words, and they made Layla's heart soar. Despite everything. I love you too, she replied, realizing it was true. Despite the chaos, despite the risks, she had fallen completely in love with Noah Sinclair. After he left, Layla fell into an exhausted sleep. She was awakened by her phone ringing at 6 a.m. It was Jenny. Turn on Channel 8 now, Jenny demanded. Fumbling for the remote, Layla switched on her small TV. The morning news was playing, and there on the screen was a photo of her, followed by one of Noah with Jessica. Breaking news in the Noah Sinclair scandal, the perky anchor was saying. Sources close to the billionaire CEO's ex-girlfriend, Layla Brooks, claim she has a history of targeting wealthy men. Records show Brooks was previously engaged to Florida businessman David Carter, who broke things off when he discovered she had been unfaithful. Carter's family declined to comment, but court documents reveal a restraining order was filed against Brooks in 2021. Layla stared at the screen in horror. What? That's insane. I've never even been to Florida. There's more, Jenny said grimly. They're saying you have a criminal record for theft from a previous employer. None of this is true, Layla cried. They're making it all up. I know that, Jenny said. But it's everywhere, all the news channels, social media. Someone really wants to destroy your reputation. Layla's hands shook as she ended the call. Her phone immediately rang again. Noah, have you seen it? She asked as soon as she answered. Yes, Noah replied, his voice tight with anger. It's Jessica. It has to be. She's the only one who would go this far. Noah, none of it is true. I've never been engaged. I don't have a criminal record. I've never even met anyone named David Carter. I know, Layla, I believe you. My lawyers are already working on it. We'll sue for defamation. Lawyers, Layla echoed weakly. This is insane. Welcome to my world, Noah said bitterly, where people will do anything for money and power. He paused. I need to go into damage control mode at the office. Can you come to my place tonight? We need to discuss our next steps. Next steps, Layla repeated, feeling numb. Yes, okay. After hanging up, Layla sank to the floor, overwhelmed. How had her life spiraled so completely out of control in just a few days? All because she sat at the wrong table. Her phone buzzed, with a text from an unknown number. Gold-digging whore. Leave Noah alone or worse stories will come out. Layla threw the phone across the room. That evening, Layla took a taxi to Noah's building, wearing sunglasses and a hat to avoid being recognized. The doorman, who knew her by now, nodded sympathetically as he let her in. Noah's penthouse was a flurry of activity. Men and women in suits were gathered around the dining table, laptops open, papers spread everywhere. Layla, Noah said, crossing the room to embrace her. I'm sorry for the circus. This is my legal team and PR crisis management. One of the women stood and approached. Ms. Brooks, I'm Helen Porter, head of PR for Sinclair Enterprises. We're developing a strategy to counter these false stories. Can you even do that? Layla asked. It seems like the damage is done. We can issue statements, threaten lawsuits, and arrange strategic interviews, Helen explained. But first, we need to know if there's anything in your past that could be misconstrued. Any ex-boyfriends who might talk to the press? Any college incidents? Layla shook her head. My life has been painfully boring until I met Noah. No exes worth mentioning, no scandals, just work and school. Helen nodded, making notes. Good. That makes our job easier. An older man in an expensive suit approached. Ms. Brooks, Clark Daniels, lead counsel. We'll need you to sign some documents authorizing us to act on your behalf in legal matters, related to these defamatory statements. Layla, Noah cut in, seeing her overwhelmed expression. You don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. Layla looked around at the team of high-powered professionals now involved in her life. This is a lot. Noah took her hand. Can we have the room, please? Just for a few minutes. When everyone had filed out onto the terrace, Noah led Layla to the couch. I'm sorry, he said. I should have warned you about all this. It's okay, Layla said, though it wasn't. Nothing about this situation was okay. I just don't understand why Jessica would go to such lengths. Is getting your company really worth destroying my life? Noah's expression was grim. For the Reynolds family? Yes, Charles Reynolds has been trying to get his hands on Sinclair Enterprises for years. And Jessica, well, she's always wanted the status of being a Sinclair. So, I'm just collateral damage, Layla said bitterly. Not if I can help it, Noah promised. We'll fight this, Layla, together. Layla nodded, trying to believe him, but the truth was she was exhausted. She'd lost her jobs, her reputation was in tatters, and strangers were sending her threatening messages, all for the crime of falling in love with the wrong person. What if... she began, then stopped. What if what? Noah prompted. What if we took a break? Layla suggested quietly. Just until this blows over, let things calm down. Maybe if they don't see us together, Jessica and her father will back off. Noah's face fell. Is that what you want? No, Layla admitted, but I don't know how much more of this I can take. Noah took both her hands in his. Layla, listen to me. If we separate now, they win. That's exactly what they want. Maybe they should win, Layla said, tears forming. Maybe it would be better for everyone. Not for me, Noah said fiercely. I love you. Nothing is worth losing you. What about your company, your family, your reputation? None of it matters without you, Noah insisted. Before I met you, I had everything but felt nothing. Now I know what's really important. Layla wanted to believe him, wanted to be as brave as he was asking her to be. But the weight of the past few days was crushing her. I need time to think, she said finally. Noah's expression was pained, but he nodded. Of course, whatever you need. As Layla prepared to leave, Helen approached again. Ms. Brooks, we've been monitoring social media. There's a new development you should know about. She handed Layla a tablet showing a post from a woman named Mandy Clark. Truth time. I worked with Layla Brooks at Cornerstone Books. She was always talking about meeting rich men, how they were her ticket out. She specifically mentioned Noah Sinclair months before their accidental meeting. Don't be fooled. Layla stared at the screen in shock. I don't even know anyone named Mandy. This is a complete lie. We suspected as much, Helen said. But it's gaining traction. People claiming to know you are coming out of the woodwork. Layla handed the tablet back, her hands shaking. I can't do this anymore, I can't. She turned to Noah, who was watching her with concern. I need to go. I need space. Let me send you with security, Noah said. There might be reporters outside. Fine. Layla agreed, too tired to argue. Noah's security team escorted her down to a waiting car with tinted windows. As they pulled away from the building, Layla texted Jenny, Can I stay with you for a few days? I need to get away from everything. Jenny replied immediately, Of course, doors open. Wine's ready. At the last minute, Layla changed her mind about the destination, asking the driver to take her to Jenny's instead of her own apartment. If reporters were watching her building, at least they wouldn't find her tonight. What Layla didn't notice was the car that pulled out behind them, following, at a discreet distance. At Jenny's apartment, Layla finally broke down, sobbing as she told her friend everything. So what are you going to do? Jenny asked when Layla had calmed down. I don't know, Layla admitted. Part of me wants to run as far away as possible, get away from the cameras and the lies. And the other part? The other part loves him, Layla said simply, and doesn't want to let Jessica win. Jenny squeezed her hand. For what it's worth, I vote for not letting the evil witch win. Layla managed a small smile. I just need time to think. Well, you can stay here as long as you need, Jenny assured her. No one will look for you here. But someone was looking. Outside Jenny's building, a man sat in a parked car making a phone call. "Miss Reynolds, I've found her. She's staying with a friend." He read out the address. "What do you want me to do now?" Jessica's voice came through, cold and determined. "Keep watching, and get me everything you can on the friend. We might need to apply pressure there too." "Understood," the man replied. "And Mr. Sinclair?" "Leave him to me," Jessica said. "I have a meeting with him tomorrow that will change everything." The next morning, Noah sat in his office, staring at the stack of messages from board members. Most expressed concerns about the recent publicity. A few directly suggested he end his relationship with Layla for the good of the company. His assistant buzzed. "Sir, Jessica Reynolds is here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's urgent." Noah sighed. "Send her in." Jessica entered looking immaculate in a designer suit, a sympathetic smile on her face. "Noah, darling," she said, approaching his desk. "I've been so worried about you." "Cut the act, Jessica," Noah said coldly. "What do you want?" Jessica's smile dimmed slightly, but she recovered quickly. "I want to help you, of course." "Help me?" Noah laughed without humor. "You've been trying to destroy my relationship with lies and smear campaigns." Jessica waved a hand dismissively. "Oh, I had nothing to do with those tabloid stories, but I am concerned about you. This waitress is clearly using you." "Her name is Layla," Noah said through gritted teeth, "and the only person trying to use me is you." Jessica sighed, taking a seat across from him without being invited. "Noah, be reasonable. Your stock has dropped 15 points since this scandal." "Broke? The board is in revolt. Your mother is beside herself with worry." "Get to the point, Jessica." She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "I can make it all go away. The stories, the scandal, all of it. Just say the word, and by tomorrow, no one will be talking about Layla Brooks anymore." Noah stared at her. "So you admit you're behind it?" Jessica shrugged elegantly. "Let's just say I have influence in certain circles." "What do you want in return?" Noah asked, though he already knew. "Just what we've always wanted," Jessica replied. "A merger between our companies, and perhaps a more personal merger as well." She reached across the desk to touch his hand. "We make sense together, Noah. We always have." Noah pulled his hand away. "You're delusional." Jessica's eyes hardened. "Am I? Or am I the only one seeing clearly? Your precious Layla is already cracking under the pressure. How long before she runs back to her little diner and her pathetic life?" "You don't know her," Noah said. "I know her type," Jessica countered. "And I also know this isn't over. The next round of stories is ready to go. Does she know about her mother's gambling problem? Or should I say, her supposed mother's gambling problem?" Noah stood abruptly. "Get out." "Think about my offer," Jessica said, rising calmly. "End things with the waitress, agree to the merger, and all this goes away, or watch as I destroy her, piece by piece." She headed for the door, then paused. "Oh, and Noah, you might want to check on your little girlfriend. My sources tell me she didn't go home last night." After Jessica left, Noah immediately called Layla. No answer. He tried Jenny next. "Is Layla with you?" he asked as soon as Jenny picked up. "Yes," Jenny confirmed. "She's in the shower. She needed some space, Noah." "Tell her to stay there," Noah said urgently. "Jessica just left my office. She as much as admitted she's behind all the stories, and she's threatening to release more." "That evil witch," Jenny hissed. "What are you going to do?" "End this," Noah said firmly. "Once and for all." He hung up and buzzed his assistant. "Get me Helen Porter and the legal team, and call Charles Reynolds. Tell him I want a meeting today." 2 hours later, Noah sat across from Charles Reynolds in a private dining room at the Carlton Club. "I have to say I was surprised by your call," Charles said, swirling his scotch. "Jessica mentioned you were unreceptive to our proposal." "I've reconsidered," Noah said evenly. Charles raised an eyebrow. "Have you now? What changed your mind?" "Let's be clear," Noah said, leaning forward. "I know you and Jessica are behind the smear campaign against Layla. I know you're trying to force my hand by destroying her reputation." Charles's expression didn't change. "That's quite an accusation." "Not an accusation, a fact." Noah placed a folder on the table. Inside is evidence that Jessica hired a private investigator to follow Layla. There are also recorded phone calls between Jessica and several tabloid reporters, arranging for false stories to be published. Charles paled slightly. "Where did you get this?" "I have resources too," Noah said coldly. "Did you really think I wouldn't protect someone I love?" "What do you want?" Charles asked, his confident demeanor slipping. "First, all stories about Layla stop, immediately. Second, public retractions from every outlet that published lies about her. Third," Noah's voice hardened, "you and Jessica stay away from both of us, forever. And if we refuse," Noah smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Then this folder goes to the SEC, detailing how Reynolds Industries has been manipulating stock prices to inflate company value before the proposed merger. I believe that's several federal crimes." Charles's face went completely white. "You're bluffing. Try me," Noah challenged. "Oh, and one more thing. Jessica mentioned Layla's mother having a gambling problem. Interesting, since Layla's mother lives in Florida and has never gambled in her life. I had my team check." Charles looked down at his drink, then back at Noah. "You've thought of everything. When it comes to protecting the people I love, yes." Noah confirmed. "Do we have an understanding?" After a long moment, Charles nodded. "The stories will stop. The retractions will be issued." "Good." Noah stood to leave. "And Charles, if anything at all, happens to Layla or anyone close, to her I will destroy you and your company so completely that even Jessica's great-grandchildren will feel it." With that, he walked out, leaving Charles Reynolds staring into his scotch. At Jenny's apartment, Layla paced nervously. She'd seen Noah's missed calls, but hadn't felt ready to talk yet. When Jenny told her about his warning, however, she felt a surge of both fear and determination. "I can't keep hiding," she told Jenny. "This is never going to stop unless I face it head-on." "What are you going to do?" Jenny asked. Before Layla could answer, her phone rang. It was Noah. "Noah, It's over," he said, his voice filled with relief. "The stories, the threats, all of it." "What? How?" "I met with Charles Reynolds. Let's just say we came to an understanding." "What kind of understanding?" Layla asked, suspicious. "The kind where he realized the consequences of continuing to harass you far outweighed any benefits," Noah explained. "Layla, they're going to issue retractions. Your name will be cleared." Layla sank onto Jenny's couch, overwhelmed. "I can't believe it." "Believe it," Noah said. "It's over. You're safe now." "So what happens next?" Layla asked, hardly daring to hope. "That's up to you," Noah said softly. "I know these past few days have been hell. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to walk away." Layla thought about it. The rational part of her knew that being with Noah would never be simple. There would always be people judging her, questioning her motives, wondering if she belonged. But then she thought about Noah himself, the man who made her laugh, who listened when she talked about her dreams, who had just gone to battle for her against powerful enemies. "I love you," she said simply. "That hasn't changed." She could hear the smile in Noah's voice as he replied, "Then come home, Layla. Come back to me." "Home," Layla repeated, the word feeling both strange and right. "Yes, I'd like that." As she hung up, Jenny was grinning at her. "So the good guys win after all." "It seems so," Layla said, still processing everything. "You're really going to do this?" Jenny asked. "Date a billionaire, deal with the high society drama, all of it?" Layla smiled, feeling stronger than she had in days. "I'm really going to love the man I fell for. The rest we'll figure out together." Later that evening, as Noah's car took them back to his penthouse, Layla watched the city lights blur past the window. She'd been right that night at the gala. Their worlds were different, and that did matter. But what she hadn't understood then was that it didn't have to keep them apart. Noah squeezed her hand as if reading her thoughts. "Welcome home," he said as they pulled up to his building. And despite everything, the scandal, the lies, the differences between them, Layla knew he was right. Home wasn't a place. It was where your heart belonged, and hers belonged with Noah. What neither of them noticed was Jessica Reynolds watching from across the street. her face tight with fury as Layla and Noah entered the building together, hand in hand. "This isn't over," she whispered, pulling out her phone. Not by a long shot. She dialed a number, waiting impatiently for an answer. "It's me. Noah thinks he's won, but he hasn't. It's time for Plan B. Yes, the nuclear option. I don't care about the consequences anymore. I want them both destroyed." As she hung up, a cold smile spread across her face. Noah and Layla might think they had their happy ending, but Jessica Reynolds was just getting started. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of change for Layla. As Noah had promised, retractions appeared in all the publications that had run false stories about her. Her name was cleared, but the experience had left its mark. "You don't have to do this today," Noah said, as they sat in his car outside Sally's diner. "They'll understand if you need more time." Layla shook her head, straightening her uniform. "No, I need to get back to normal, or whatever passes for normal now." After the scandal broke, both Sally's Diner and Cornerstone Books had reached out with apologies and job offers. Noah had been furious, wanting to sue them for wrongful termination, but Layla had insisted on handling it her way. "Wish me luck," she said, leaning over to kiss Noah quickly. "You don't need luck," he replied with a smile. "But I'll be here when your shift ends." Inside the diner, Doris rushed to hug her. "Oh, honey, we're so glad to have you back." The other waitresses crowded around, offering apologies and support. Even Mr. Sally himself, who rarely left his office, came out to welcome her back. "Miss Brooks," he said, shaking her hand vigorously, "I want to personally apologize for the hasty decision we made. It was wrong, and I'm grateful you've agreed to return." Layla smiled, touched by the warm welcome. "Thank you, Mr. Sally. It's good to be back." As she tied on her apron and grabbed her order pad, Layla felt a sense of rightness wash over her. This was her world, practical, straightforward, honest. No matter what happened with Noah, she needed to keep this part of herself. The morning passed quickly, with regular customers expressing delight at seeing her again. Several even mentioned the retractions, assuring her they'd never believed the lies. "Your young man must really care about you," Mrs. Peterson, an elderly regular, commented as Layla refilled her coffee. "To stand by you through all that nastiness." "He does," Layla agreed, unable to keep the smile from her face. "And you love him too, I can see it," Mrs. Peterson said with a knowing nod. "Don't let anyone tell you that you don't belong together. In my day, I was a secretary who married the boss's son. Everyone said it wouldn't last." She held up her left hand, showing a simple gold band. 52 years this June." Layla squeezed the older woman's shoulder. "Thank you for telling me that." During her break, Layla checked her phone to find a text from Noah. "Dinner tonight at my place? I have something important to ask you." Her heart skipped a beat. Important question. They'd only been dating for a little over 2 months. Surely he wasn't thinking of... "No," she told herself firmly. "Don't get ahead of yourself. It could be anything," she texted back. "Yes, see you at 7. The rest of her shift seemed to drag, her mind constantly wandering to what Noah might want to discuss. By the time she clocked out, she was a bundle of nerves. Noah was waiting outside as promised, leaning against his car with casual elegance. Several passers-by did double-takes, recognizing the famous CEO. "How was it?" he asked as she approached. "Good," Layla said honestly. "Really good. Everyone was so kind." "I'm glad," Noah said, opening the car door for her. "Ready for dinner?" At Noah's penthouse, Layla was surprised to find the dining room transformed. Candles flickered on a beautifully set table, and the smell of delicious food filled the air. "Did you cook?" she asked, amazed. Noah laughed. "Let's not get carried away. I had it catered, but I did set the table myself." Over dinner, they talked about their days, carefully avoiding any mention of the important question hanging in the air. Finally, as they finished dessert, Noah reached across the table to take her hand. "Layla, there's something I need to ask you." "Here it comes," she thought, her heart racing. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about our future," Noah continued. "And after everything we've been through, I'm more certain than ever that we belong together." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Layla's breath caught in her throat. "Noah," she whispered, We've only known each other for 2 months. He opened the box, but instead of a ring, it contained a key. Move in with me, Noah said. I know it's fast, but after everything that's happened, I want you close. I want to build a life with you day by day. Layla stared at the key, a mix of relief and, surprisingly, disappointment washing over her. You thought it was a ring, didn't you? Noah asked, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. No, Layla protested, then laughed. Okay, maybe for a second. Noah's expression grew serious. I do want to marry you someday, Layla. I know that already, but I also know we need time. I want to do this right. Layla picked up the key, turning it over in her fingers. Living together is still a big step. It is, Noah agreed. And if you're not ready, I understand. There's no pressure. What about your mother? The board? Won't they have opinions about this too? Noah shrugged. Probably. But after the way I handled the Reynolds situation, they're keeping their opinions to themselves for now. Layla thought about her tiny apartment, the independence it represented. Then she thought about waking up beside Noah every morning, coming home to him every night. Yes, she said finally. I'll move in with you. Noah's face lit up with joy. He stood and pulled her into his arms, spinning her around the dining room. But, Layla added when he set her down, I'm keeping my jobs, and I want to pay for some expenses. I need to contribute. Noah started to protest, then saw the determination in her eyes. How about you cover groceries and your personal expenses? And half the utilities, Layla countered. Noah laughed. Do you have any idea what the utilities for this place cost? No, Layla admitted. But whatever it is, I want to pay my share, even if it means picking up extra shifts. How about this? Noah suggested. You contribute what you can based on your income. That's fair, right? Layla considered it, then nodded. That works, as long as I'm not just living off you. Deal, Noah said, sealing it with a kiss. When can you move in? My lease is up at the end of the month anyway, Layla said. So 2 weeks? 2 weeks it is, Noah agreed. I can't wait. The news of their decision to live together spread quickly. Jenny squealed with excitement when Layla told her. From wrong table to moving in with a millionaire in 2 months, she marveled. Only you, Layla Brooks. Billionaire, actually, Layla corrected with a grin. But who's counting? At the diner, her co-workers teased her good-naturedly about moving up in the world, but their support was genuine. Even Mr. Henderson at the bookstore, where she now worked weekends, offered his congratulations. The only person who hadn't reacted was Noah's mother. Vivian Sinclair had maintained a chilly distance since the gala incident, communicating with her son only about business matters. She'll come around, Noah assured Layla, though he didn't sound convinced. Just give her time. Moving. Day arrived with unexpected sunshine after a week of rain. Jenny and several friends from the diner helped Layla pack her modest belongings into boxes. I can't believe how little you have, Jenny commented, sealing a box of books. This is going to look like nothing in that massive penthouse. I know, Layla admitted. I'm a little worried about that. What if I feel like a guest in my own home? Then you'll add your own touches, Jenny said practically. Make it yours too. Noah arrived with a moving crew, insisting on handling the heavy lifting himself despite having professionals available. By afternoon, Layla's belongings were settled into Noah's, their, penthouse. Standing in the massive living room, surrounded by sleek, expensive furnishings, Layla felt a moment of panic. Jenny was right. Her few possessions looked out of place here like relics from another life. What's wrong? Noah asked, noticing her expression. It's just... Layla gestured around the room. This is also you. Where do I fit in? Noah rapped, his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her head. Everywhere, anywhere you want. This isn't just my home anymore, Layla. It's ours. We can change anything you don't like. I don't want to change your home, Layla protested. Our home, Noah corrected gently. And I want it to feel like yours too, so tell me what would make this place feel like home to you? Layla looked around, considering. The apartment was beautiful, but somewhat impersonal, like something from a design magazine. Maybe some more books. Real ones, not just display copies, and some plants. Oh, and family photos. Consider it done, Noah said. Tomorrow we'll go shopping, buy whatever you want. I can't let you spend a fortune on... We'll... Spend what you're comfortable with, Noah interrupted. But Layla, this is important. I want you to feel at home here. Looking up into his eyes, Layla saw only sincerity and love. Okay, she agreed. Tomorrow we shop. That night, as they lay in bed, their bed now, Layla listened to Noah's steady breathing and marveled at how much her life had changed in such a short time, from struggling waitress to living in a penthouse with a man who loved her exactly as she was. The next few weeks settled into a rhythm. Layla worked her shifts at the diner and bookstore, while Noah ran his company. They had dinner together most nights, sometimes at home, sometimes at restaurants where Noah was recognized and Layla was scrutinized. Gradually, the penthouse began to reflect Layla's presence. Colorful throw pillows on the sleek leather couch, mismatched mugs in the kitchen cabinet alongside the expensive china, and most importantly, photos of both their families displayed proudly on the walls. One evening, as they were enjoying a quiet dinner at home, the elevator chimed. Someone was coming up. Noah frowned. "Are you expecting anyone?" Layla asked. "No," Noah replied, standing. "And security would have called up." The elevator doors opened to reveal Vivian Sinclair, immaculately dressed as always. "Mother," Noah said, surprised. "We weren't expecting you." "Clearly," Vivian replied, her eyes taking in the casual scene. "I apologize for interrupting your dinner." "It's fine," Layla said, standing as well. "There's plenty if you'd like to join us." Vivian hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you. That would be nice." The three of them sat at the dining table, an awkward silence falling over them. Layla served Vivian a plate of the lasagna she'd made, watching nervously as Noah's mother took a tentative bite. "This is delicious," Vivian said, sounding genuinely surprised. "Did you make it yourself?" "It's my mom's recipe," Layla explained. "Comfort food." Vivian took another bite, then set down her fork. "I owe you an apology, Layla. My behavior at the gala was inexcusable." Layla blinked, shocked by the unexpected words. "Thank you, Mrs. Sinclair." "Vivian, please," she corrected. To Noah, she added, "You were right. I was being a snob." "What changed your mind?" Noah asked, clearly as surprised as Layla. "Several things," Vivian admitted. "Watching how you handled the Reynolds situation showed me how serious you are about Layla. And then Robert, your uncle, gave me quite the lecture about judging people by their bank accounts rather than their character." She turned to Layla. "But mostly, it was seeing how happy my son is, happier than I've seen him in years, perhaps ever." Layla felt tears prick her eyes. "I love him very much." "I can see that," Vivian said softly, "and he clearly loves you." She squared her shoulders. "So, I've come to make amends and, if you're willing, to start fresh." "I'd like that," Layla said, reaching over to squeeze Noah's hand. The evening ended with a tentative peace established. As Vivian was leaving, she paused at the elevator. "Layla, I'm hosting a charity luncheon next week. I'd be honored if you would attend, as my guest." "I'd be happy to," Layla replied, touched by the gesture. After Vivian left, Noah pulled Layla into a tight embrace. "Thank you for giving her a chance." "She's your mother," Layla said simply. "She's family." "Speaking of family," Noah said, "I want to meet your mom soon. Maybe we could fly to Florida next month." Layla nodded against his chest. "She'd love that. She already thinks you're amazing just from our phone calls." "Smart woman," Noah teased. "Must run in the family." The following week, Layla attended Vivian's charity luncheon, nervously dressed in a new outfit Noah had insisted on buying her. To her relief, Vivian introduced her warmly to everyone, making it clear that Layla was an important part of her son's life. "That wasn't so bad, was it?" Vivian asked as the event wound down. "No," Layla admitted. "Everyone was very kind." "They know better than to cross me," Vivian said with a wink that reminded Layla so much of Noah. "But they also know a good person when they meet one. You've impressed quite a few people today, Layla." "By not using the wrong fork?" Layla joked. Vivian laughed, a genuine sound that transformed her usually stern face. "By being yourself. It's refreshing in our circles." As autumn turned to winter, Layla and Noah settled deeper into their shared life. The scandal was mostly forgotten, replaced by newer gossip about other celebrities. Occasionally, someone would recognize Layla at the diner, but the notoriety had faded. One snowy December evening, Noah came home with an unusually serious expression. "Everything okay?" Layla asked, looking up from the book she was reading. "I need to talk to you about something," Noah said, sitting beside her on the couch. "It's about the Reynolds family." Layla tensed. "What about them?" "Charles Reynolds has filed for bankruptcy," Noah explained. "His company has been struggling since our confrontation, and apparently he'd been covering up financial problems for years." "That's not your fault," Layla said quickly. "No, it's not," Noah agreed. "But there's more. Jessica has been trying to contact me, claiming she has new information that could damage both of us if I don't help." "Her father?" Layla's stomach dropped. "Blackmail after everything?" "She's desperate," Noah said, "and desperate people do desperate things." "What kind of information could she possibly have?" Layla wondered aloud. "Nothing real," Noah assured. "Her? But she's proven she's willing to fabricate stories." "So what do we do?" "Nothing," Noah said firmly. "My legal team has made it clear that any new false stories will result in immediate legal action, and the media won't touch anything related to you now without extensive fact-checking." Layla nodded, trying to push away the renewed anxiety. "I thought this was over." "It is," Noah insisted, pulling her close. "Jessica is grasping at straws. She can't hurt us anymore." But that night, Layla couldn't sleep. The peace they'd found felt suddenly fragile, threatened by shadows from the past. The next morning, while Noah was in the shower, his phone rang on the bedside table. Layla glanced at it, freezing when she saw Jessica's name on the screen. Without thinking, she answered. "Stop calling him." There was a pause, then Jessica's cold laugh. "Well, if it isn't the little waitress herself, playing secretary now." "What do you want, Jessica?" Layla demanded. "What I've always wanted," Jessica replied. "Noah, the company, everything that should have been mine." "It's over," Layla said firmly. "You lost." "Did I?" Jessica's voice took on a dangerous edge. "You think you've won, don't you? Living in his penthouse, playing house. But we both know the truth." "And what truth is that?" Layla asked, though part of her didn't want to hear the answer. "That you don't belong in his world," Jessica said. "That eventually he'll get tired of slumming it. Men like Noah always do." The words hit exactly where Jessica intended, right at Layla's deepest insecurity. "You're wrong," Layla said, but her voice wavered. "Am I? Ask yourself, Layla, what do you bring to his life? What can you offer that someone like me can't? I was born for his world, you're just a tourist." Before Layla could respond, Noah emerged from the bathroom. Seeing her on his phone, her face pale, he quickly took it. "Jessica," he said, his voice hard. "Don't ever call this number again." He hung up without waiting for a response. "What did she say to you?" he asked, sitting beside Layla. "Nothing I haven't thought myself," Layla admitted quietly. "That I don't belong in your world, that eventually you'll get tired of me." Noah cupped her face in his hands. "Layla, listen to me. You are my world, not the company, not the money, not the social circles. You." "But what if she's right?" Layla whispered. "What if I'm just not enough?" "Then I would still choose you," Noah said firmly. "Every time, I would choose you." He kissed her, a kiss full of promise and certainty. When they parted, he kept his forehead pressed to hers. "I was going to wait until Christmas," he said, "but I don't want to wait anymore." Noah slid off the bed onto one knee, pulling a small velvet box from his bathrobe pocket. Layla's heart stopped. "I've been carrying this around for weeks," he admitted, opening the box to reveal a stunning but tasteful diamond ring. "Trying to find the perfect moment, but I realize now there is no perfect moment. There's just us, choosing each other every day." Tears filled Layla's eyes as Noah continued. "Layla Brooks, I love you. I've loved you since you sat down at the wrong table and started telling me about your 2 jobs without having any idea who I was. I love your honesty, your strength, your heart, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you." He took a deep breath. "Will you marry me?" The moment stretched between them, full of possibility. In her mind, Layla saw flashes of their life together, the good and the bad, the challenges they would face from a world that might never fully accept their relationship. But then she looked into Noah's eyes and saw her future, her home, her heart. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, I'll marry you." Noah slipped the ring onto her finger, then pulled her into his arms, both of them laughing and crying at once. "I love you," Layla said against his lips. "All of you. Not the millionaire, not the CEO. Just Noah. And I love all of you," Noah replied. "The waitress, the bookstore clerk, the dreamer with the biggest heart I've ever known." 6 months later, Layla stood in a small room at the back of an oceanfront property, looking out at the gathering of friends and family. The wedding was intimate. Only 50 guests, a compromise between Noah's initial suggestion of just immediate family and Vivian's wish for a society extravaganza. Jenny fussed with Layla's simple but elegant gown, a custom design that somehow managed to be both sophisticated and true to Layla's unpretentious style. "Ready?" Jenny asked, adjusting Layla's veil one last time. "More than ready," Layla replied, taking a deep breath. A knock at the door revealed Vivian, elegant in pale blue. "It's time, dear." The two women had grown close over the past months, bonding over their shared love for Noah, and surprisingly a mutual interest in classic literature that had surfaced during one of their lunches. "You look beautiful," Vivian said, genuine warmth in her voice. "Thank you," Layla replied, "for everything." Outside, the ocean breeze carried the scent of flowers as Layla walked down the aisle to where Noah waited, his face lighting up at the sight of her. Their vows were simple and heartfelt, promises to love each other through whatever life brought their way. "I never expected you," Noah said, his voice thick with emotion. "I never expected someone to sit at the wrong table and change my life forever. But now I can't imagine my life without you." "I came to that restaurant looking for a chance," Layla replied, tears shining in her eyes. "I had no idea I would find my heart instead. You saw me when I was invisible to everyone else, and I saw you when everyone else only saw your success." They sealed their vows with a kiss. Applause and cheers erupted from their guests. In the back row, Mrs. Peterson from the diner dabbed at her eyes, seated next to Doris and Mr. Henderson from the bookstore, a deliberate mix of Layla's world and Noah's that symbolized their joined lives. At the reception, Noah led Layla onto the dance floor for their first dance as husband and wife. "Happy?" he asked, holding her close. "Perfectly," she replied, resting her head on his shoulder. "I never thought I'd be here." "Where?" "Married to a devastatingly handsome millionaire," Noah teased. "Billionaire, actually," Layla corrected with a grin. "But no, happy, truly, completely happy." Noah spun her gently, bringing her back into his arms. "You know, I was thinking about the bookstore cafe you always wanted to open, the one for kids, to get help with homework." Layla looked up, surprised he remembered. "What about it?" "The Sinclair Foundation has some funds earmarked for educational initiatives," Noah said casually. "It would be a shame not to use them for such a worthy cause." Layla's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "Completely," Noah affirmed. "It would be your project, your dream. We could start looking at locations next month." "Noah," Layla breathed, overcome. "That would be amazing." "You're amazing," he replied, "and I want to make all your dreams come true." As they swayed to the music, Layla caught sight of Jenny dancing with Noah's cousin Adam, the two of them laughing at some shared joke. Nearby, Vivian chatted animatedly with Layla's mother, who had flown in from Florida for the wedding. Their worlds weren't so different after all, Layla realized. So maybe they had created a new world together, one where a waitress and a billionaire could find love across every divide. Later that night, as they stood on the balcony of their honeymoon suite, watching moonlight dance across the waves, Noah wrapped his arms around Layla from behind. "Any regrets?" he asked softly. Layla turned in his embrace, looking up at the man who had changed her life with a chance encounter and an open heart. "Just one," she said with a smile. "I should have sat at the wrong table a long time ago." Noah laughed, pulling her close. "I'd say your timing was perfect, Mrs. Sinclair." "Mrs. Sinclair," Layla repeated, testing the sound of her new name. "I like it." "I love you," Noah whispered, kissing her under the stars. "I love you too," Layla replied. "Always." As they stood together, the night stretched endlessly before them, full of promise. Two people from different worlds, brought together by a simple mistake that turned out to be the most perfect accident of all. Back in the city, Jessica Reynolds stared at the society page announcement of their wedding, her face tight with anger. Crumpling the newspaper, she tossed it aside, reaching instead for a glass of champagne. "Enjoy it while it lasts," she murmured, raising her glass in a mock toast. Nothing lasts forever. But Jessica was wrong. Some things do last forever, like love that begins at the wrong table but finds its way to exactly the right heart. For Noah and Layla Sinclair, their story was just beginning. And while they knew there would be challenges ahead, they faced them together, secure in the knowledge that they had found something rare and precious, a love that saw beyond appearances, beyond wealth, beyond all the barriers that tried to keep them apart. Their mistaken hearts had found their perfect match, and that was no accident at all. The end.